What's up guys, MainManSWE here, hoping you're all doing awesome as always, and welcome to the nerdiest Tekken video you will ever see. I will actually use a pen and a whiteboard here to try and explain a couple of things. And I want to talk about Tekken 5 balancing versus Tekken 7 balancing and how different they are, and how a lot of people get the misconception watching my Tekken 5 videos that every single character was broken, and that if every character is broken, then that means the game is balanced. Absolutely not. We're gonna take a look at it. I'm gonna try and explain it in a very efficient way, and we can see how Tekken 5 balancing lives up to Tekken 7 balancing. It's very, very different. But first off, I just want to say something in general about tiers and how unreliable tier lists can be. Like, for example, a Tekken 7 tier list could very easily include this. Let's see, S tier. Oh, that's a high tier. Those are high tier characters. Maybe it might include Ling and King at S tier, both extremely strong characters in Tekken 7 Season 2. So someone, let's say two friends are playing Tekken. One of them's playing Ling, one of them's playing King. And they check out the tier list and they say, oh, well, you're always beating me with Ling, but our characters are equally strong. Yeah, they're both extremely strong, but Ling is kind of a counter to King. And this is something, so it's very hard playing King versus Ling. And for example, Kazuya versus Steve favors Steve. Paul is a pretty good counter to Geese. These things you cannot see in a tier list. And to me, there are many more things like this that are just not taken into account in a tier list. So I'm writing STR here, that's for strength. Let's say strength 0, strength 100. And interesting parameters that I think should be taken into account in a tier list, but you never know if they are, or how many of these are taken into account. But to me, tournament potential of a character, let's say deathmatch, consistency. I'm gonna explain soon what I mean with these, and I'm gonna get shot by including this, but I'm gonna say online and then counter. And let's see, we're gonna do this. Oops. So, for example, how good is a character in tournaments? Tournament characters are usually quite aggressive. JDCR with Dragunov, you have Arslan Ash with Kazumi, Paul is very successful, Steve is successful, Devil Jin is successful, Jin is successful. Tournament characters are usually very good at poking and can be very mix-up oriented. Deathmatching favors very defensive and fundamentally based characters can do really well in deathmatches, because if you play a mix-up based character in a deathmatch, the longer you fight someone, the more time they get to adapt to your mix-ups or flowcharts. So one usually says that Kazuya is a pretty weak tournament character because he only has 2 or 3 matches to learn a matchup, whereas in a deathmatch he's a very strong character. And I think consistency is important. You don't see this a lot in taken into account in tier lists. Kazuya is not a very consistent character due to his execution. Kazumi is very consistent due to pretty much no execution needed. And online, the absolute majority of Tekken fights are played online these days. I think it's like 99.99%. In my opinion, this is a pretty interesting and important variable, but I know a lot of people want to exclude that and feel that Tekken is offline only. And then you have counter, which is what I talked about before, but certain characters just counter others to a very high degree, and this is not taken into account in tier lists. But these two are obviously the most important. How does a character fare in tournament or deathmatch format? And I thought it could be interesting. I'm gonna try and place Kazuya here. So this is 0 strength, and this is 100. So if Kazuya was the red line here, I would say that in tournaments, he's not terrible, but he's not very good either. So I'd place him here in the middle. And then in deathmatch, I would say he's very strong. Very fundamentally based, some of the best defense in the game. If he's allowed time, And of course, this is all due to player as well, but in general, I feel you can say this about the character. His consistency, unfortunately, is lower due to everything needing execution. It's completely movement based. You cannot have an off day with Kazuya, and this speaks against him as a tournament character. He's probably the most vulnerable character to online, and while he counters a lot of characters well, like for example Dragunov and Brian, I've put it here in the middle, by the way, so you guys can see here. He counters some characters, but some characters just completely destroy him. Like, for example, Kazumi. Any character that can pressure him really well, or Steve, is just terrible for Kazuya. But so what would it look like if I was to place Jin here in the very same list? I would say he's pretty much a perfect tournament character. Even better than Devil Jin, I would say, due to... I mean, there really is nothing Jin cannot do, but his mix-up potential is better than Devil Jin's. But Devil Jin's fundamental approach is better in the end, I think. So I think while Devil Jin is favored in a death match, I think Jin is favored in a tournament. And I feel if I were to ask you, like, name me a Devil Jin that you see a lot in tournaments, you'd probably say Kudans, but you would struggle to name any other names. But when it comes to Jin, for example, in tournaments, there is no shortage of names. I mean, you have Cherry Berry Mango, Shikurin, you have Book from Thailand, you have from the US, Run It Black, Ni plays Jin occasionally. You have really a lot of players, a lot of great players. So I feel Jin works better in that format. So I'm gonna say he's a really good tournament character, but he's also a really good deathmatch character. He really is. And when it comes to consistency, I feel he's a little bit more consistent than Kazuya. He's not as... he also needs great execution and movement, but he's not as bound by it as Kazuya. He fares better online due to his mix-up potential and strings. And good luck countering Jin. Is there a single matchup he struggles with? Just overall fantastic. And I think this sort of breakdown is very interesting to do in a tier list. And sorry this took 7 minutes. Hopefully it wasn't completely uninteresting, but I just wanted to get that out there. I feel like a lot of tier lists, you really have to take them with a grain of salt, because how many of these components have they actually factored in how they decide to label the characters, you know, or categorize them in A, S, B tiers, you know, etc. Sorry, I'm just gonna switch on. Or did we just listen to this? Let's go with Geese. So now I'm actually going to start with Tekken 5 versus Tekken 7 tier list here. Let's see. Oops. That's not what I wanted. Okay. Can I write? Yes. Okay, so first off, I'm gonna put a line here, a blue line, like so. And this is gonna symbolize the average strength of a Tekken 5 character. So this is generalized. Your average Tekken 5 characters are that strong. Now I'm gonna put a different line here. Wait. A red one. That didn't turn out red. Give me a second. Like so. The red line... whoops. Oh my god. I love you. Okay. The red line symbolizes the average strength of a Tekken 7 character. So, I feel like the average character... Oh, that looks like shit. Okay. The average character in Tekken 7 is slightly stronger than the average character in Tekken 5. This is just how they chose to balance these games. Tekken 4, everyone was toned down. Tekken 5, everyone was buffed the hell up. And then came Tekken 6, everyone was taken down. And Tekken 7, everyone's taken up again. So that's basically how they did that. But let's focus on Tekken 7 a little bit here. I feel like if you were to place an S tier here, I would do so here. I will even write S tier, and I will put Jin and Devil Jin. I want to be able to read this, so like so. Those to me, that's the strongest character in season 2 of Tekken 7, Jin and Devil Jin. I used to say Devil Jin for sure, but these days I'm not certain. I just feel like Jin is so goddamn perfect. Devil Jin is perfect, but it's almost like Jin is even more perfect, I think. But I'm gonna place them at the exact same position. And I'm not gonna throw out a lot of characters here. I don't need to make my point. And then, much worse, let's see, C tier. Much worse than the average character is Gigas. He is a terrible character. Just a terrible character. And average characters could be... That is very small. Maybe we can have Hwarang, Katarina, just to give a few examples. And here you can see the variable and deviation from an average character to the worst tier, oops, and the strongest. It looks like this to me. And now in contrast, we can check out the balancing of Tekken 5, where apparently everyone is overpowered. Well, not so much. This is what it looked like in Tekken 5. You had the average characters, and now we have to pretend that all of these characters, the Tekken 5 and their Tekken 7 counterparts, are in the same game, the same universe. We're gonna put these tiers together. So the top tiers of Tekken 5 are stronger than the S tiers of Tekken 7. So I'm gonna put them here. This is Tekken 5, top tier. And this would include Devil Jin. Again, Devil Jin in Tekken 5 is much stronger than his Tekken 7 counterpart. We would also put Heihachi here. We would put Law and Raven. All very, very strong. They are top tier. Like so. And somewhere around here, absolutely stronger than the S tier in Tekken 7, but not as strong as the Tekken 5 top tier, was Kazuya. Some people would include him in the top tier, but probably not. A bit too inconsistent, but he's gonna float here. But as you saw in my Kazuya video, he would still destroy these guys. All of them. And now, above the top tier, we're gonna put the broken tier. These were the characters that were completely broken. Brian, Nina, and that says Fang. Like so. And above here we would have, oh shit, sorry. Best ever. And that goes to Steve. So, let's see. I'm just gonna get in the variables here, the goddamn deviation. So, wow, sorry. I do want you guys to be able to see this. God damn it. Sweet. So this is how much it fluctuated in Tekken 5. And might as well say that the average character in Tekken 5, let's say we put Jin, Hwoarang. Characters that would be beaten by average Tekken 7 characters, but the top tiers of Tekken 5 were enormously strong. You know, they're completely different dimension compared even to strong Tekken 7 characters. But even among those top tiers, you know, you had the broken tier, and these were characters that were almost completely unbeatable. You know, they were just that strong. And then you had best ever, Steve Fox, the best ever Tekken character. And why is that? It's much thanks to that. I mean, he unbelievably broken, watch my video, but he could kill you with one sidestep. And that sidestep string and strat was so bad that it was actually banned from a lot of tournaments. Can you imagine that? Oh, this character is playable in the tournament, but this move, it's banned. You're not allowed to use it. It was that overpowered. And that is why Steve is in a league of his own. He's just the best character ever. And then you had, of course, a low tier in Tekken 5 with characters that were just unbelievably bad. Kuma fits the bill, and I believe Lei fits the bill. Oh shit. So I believe it's something like this. So saying, you know, every character is broken in Tekken 5 just doesn't hold up. You know, this guy is in a league of his own, absolutely. And then you have the broken tiers here who are unbelievably good. You know, they're completely broken. And a top tier is kind of where the game begins. You know, where the average character can actually compete. But with these guys, there's just no comparison. And then you had the low tiers, who were just terrible. Terrible. So, interestingly, I would say that, you know, in Tekken 7, this is your variation in strength. Oh god. I would love a color you guys can see. Oh no, that doesn't work either. Okay, we're gonna go with purple. So, this is how much it deviates, or the variation in strength, in my opinion, in Tekken 7. It goes from S tier to C tier, like this. But in Tekken 5, we would have a much broader curve, like so. Let's say it might be ×3 what Tekken 7 is. ×3 as broken. Yeah, this is very scientific. But this little variation here is what allowed Kuma, for example, a mid-tier, to win a tournament. That's how balanced the game is, Tekken 7 in the end. Gigas is a very bad character, but as the balancing here is so good, he might have a shot at winning a tournament, as unlikely as it may seem. But when the balancing was this bad in Tekken 5, the characters that were good in that game were unbelievably good, and the characters that were bad were unbelievably bad. And, you know, as Kuma could win a Tekken 7 tournament, good luck ever, you know, Tekken 5, in its glory days, in its heydays, a Kuma player going up against a Steve player. Well, good luck ever fucking winning that matchup. Like, so that is how broken Tekken 5 it was, and not every character was broken. You've seen, I'm not gonna go into all the average Tekken 5 characters, but you've seen my video on Jin. I don't have to cover more characters, you know, way worse than the average Tekken 7 character, and then you had this shit. So yeah, I just hope you found this interesting and not horribly boring. It was, I feel it's good to write things down like this. Maybe it's super nerdy and super cringe, but at least I thought it was slightly interesting. But I'm gonna wish you a lovely day, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Take care.